Okay guys, hope you're keeping safe during this period, and I'm doing that myself, working from home. It's the new norm. Okay, some of us are used to it. I hope you are. So today this is the introduction or the first video for this series, and I hope by now you've checked off the series 1. If you didn't have you've not maybe last time you didn't watch the videos. So we had the entire series. It was under the whole playlist. So the playlist is found here. So here it is. So we had these videos that were representing the various topics, and so far I hope you've been able to at least get a project running. Even if not fully, but at least somehow you have something that is working. So in today's video, I want us to go through each of these videos, not per se into details, but at least reviewing what we did maybe wrong, what needs to be adjusted or need some improvement. And then you can give me your feedback, and then you know whether it's okay to proceed or maybe we need to address some of the issues. So this was the first video of the series, which was Introduction to Geodjango tutorial series, and basically this one outlined the videos that were supposed to be in this playlist. So the video actually starts from here up to number 10, and then we have the end. So basically we covered these topics. So the first topic was basically Introduction to Django project, because basically Geodjango is a module within Django. So we cannot work on Geodjango without per se knowing what Django is. And then of course we went to spatial databases. This is where we need to store our data, be it a point, be it a string, be it a line, be it a polygon. And then we have leaflet. So this is our mapping library, where we need to use this library to actually have a map on our application. And then we were able to generate GIS models from the data that we had, that is basically shapefiles. And then we went to the front end, where we wrote URLs, we wrote views, and we wrote the templates. And then number 6 was pop-ups in Geodjango. So basically whenever you have a map, you want to add some user interactiveness, where if a user clicks on a feature, at least you're able to view or to see what information it contains. And then we were able to carry out some custom layer styles, where we would change the colors of the various data types or layers that we had on our map. And then we added a layer control. So basically we need to toggle between layer A, layer B, layer C. So we played around with the layer control for that. And then an awesome bit we did in that tutorial was routing. So basically some people say routing, others say routing. Okay, for me it's routing in leaflet. So I want to know the route that I need to follow from point A to point B. So I just place my marker from point A to point B. Then the last bit was data editing. So basically on data editing, so this is where we used QGIS. So we connect the geodatabase that we had with our data with QGIS, and then we make some changes there, and we could see those changes within the Django admin. Summary, I won't talk about the summary because basically that was all about the entire series. So so I've had awesome comments. Guys have responded to these tutorials. I'm so happy. Others were critics, others were commendable comments. I think we all know that in this field, like, it's not really easy to have such a tutorial. Guys are sending in questions, you need to answer them, you need to help someone who is stuck somewhere. And it's been a journey that has I've been receiving so many emails, comments. We have things like WhatsApp messages, and I'm glad for all that, because I'm happy sometimes waking up in the morning and looking at the comments that I have, or maybe emails that I need to answer, and then I learned something new. because sometimes someone asks a question that you never expected or you never anticipated, and then you do some more research and you get to understand that thing even better. Thank you for those who gave comments. I'm really humbled because at least, and these likes, it's not easy. I feel I'm so happy. So from here I'll go directly to the code. So I want to explain all these bits that we had here. I think the biggest challenge with most users was the settings file, because for you to activate GIS or maybe to use Geodjango, you need to do at least some couple of things for it to work. The first thing you need to have is at least ensure you have Django.contrib.gis in your installed apps in the settings.py file. And then from there, if you're using leaflets, you have to remember, if you install the package for leaflet, you have to remember to include it in installed apps. The other thing is the database here. So the engine, we need at least to set the contrib. So by default it comes with SpatiaLite, not SpatiaLite, but SQLite database. So you need to change the engine to point to the PostGIS database that you're using. So basically you have contrib.gis, db.package.postgis. But then before all that, the first video here covers the introduction to Django project. So basically here what you need to do is you need to at least first of all install PostgreSQL, and then you install the PostGIS bundle. To my surprise, most of the guys who had issues were Windows guys. And Windows, the good thing I like about Windows environment is that you have a .exe file. So installing PostgreSQL and PostGIS in Windows is just a snap of a finger. Just get online to the respective sites, download the exe files, and then install them. The moment you install them, you have to know how to activate PostGIS on a database. So first of all, you create the database and then you add the PostGIS module or the extension. From there, you have to at least know where, for example, things like GDAL, Proj4, where all these files or these components are installed. So we have, so for example, there's this guide that I released that was March 2019. And it talked about the setting up, and these you find that like just to have GIS into your application. So this one details the same way we have the project or the playlist on YouTube. This one was a hard copy for a step-by-step process of doing whatever we had to do. So you have to install things like PsychoPG2. PsychoPG2 is just an adapter for Python. So because Django is basically Python, so you have to tell it like how it connects to the PostgreSQL database. And then, unlike guys using Linux or Mac, where you probably using terminal to do all these installations, on Windows it should be easy. And then you have all these processes. So like now on Linux, someone has an option of installing the GUI, which is basically pgadmin, either 3 or 4. And then on Windows, that one comes by default, where basically you can create the extensions from there. The biggest challenge is if you have, for example, need to include, for example, the GDAL on your file, settings file. For guys using Windows, it's just a one-line statement where basically it's GDAL library path, and then you give the path where your gdal.dll file is, and it's that simple. In most cases, if you are a GIS guy and you use a lot of maybe OSGeo products, you might find yourself not actually already having GDAL, because if you have QGIS or ArcGIS on your machine, you probably have GDAL. So those paths already exist. So you just need to know where they are, copy the path and paste it on your settings.py file, and then you'll be good to go. The other challenge is the issue of maybe configurations for example, we have leaflet, which you need to do some configurations. For example, set the center to maybe the area of interest. This is Kenya, so I know at least by the time I'm opening leaflet on my application, it will always be focusing on Kenya. And then so we have the issue of maybe not passing the installation phase. That one, sometimes when I saw the comments, they were a bit scary, because someone would post an error that I've not used Windows for some years, so sometimes it gets confusing because you post an error that I've never seen. Probably the error is because you've not included GIS here. In other cases, you've not included or changed the engine here. Or in some cases, maybe you have OS errors, where maybe the pads or some things are conflicting inside your operating system. But those things that are very specific to Geodjango or very specific to this project, at least those ones I would outrightly know what the challenge is. And actually, I don't think there's anyone who has a question which hasn't been answered in regarding to maybe GDAL or having the GDAL library path on the settings file. And then we have things like the load layer. So these are the scripts. This script basically, we use the layer mapping library to actually automate processes. So you have a shapefile which has, for example, the counties. Then you want to load all that data into your model. Even if you have 1,000 or 5,000 points or lines or polygons, you can just use this script, and then it will be so easy for you to get the data from your machine or from your shapefiles into the application. So there were things that I did that were at least were trying to simplify things. Maybe I never explained them in full, but at least these were really helping. But it's still optional. It's not a must that you had to do them. Of course, we had the admin, which this one I don't want to focus much about it. The thing that I want to comment about here is just the leaflet geoadmin. This is not a must to have. If you have the library or the module for leaflet, then you can include this. If you don't have, you can just use the usual OSM geoadmin. Yeah, this one. So it's not a must that you have this. So some people, I would find that they have leaflet installed, but they forget to put these ones here. So they ask me, why does my map look different from yours? So these are, if you add, for example, a library, if it's used somewhere, kindly try to follow along where all those elements are required for it to look as mine on the videos. The other thing was about the models. So here we just created two models, which is basically counties and incidences. I had scenarios where a guy would create counties on their models, but then they are trying to load, for example, things like roads. So someone tells you, I'm using the load.layer file, but I'm not able to load my data into the database. So basically that couldn't work because lines are, we should have multi-line here, but now this is a polygon, so it expects a polygon, not a line. One more thing on the load layer, this, whatever you're calling county mapping, the counties, so this is basically the fields, the fields on the, sorry, the fields on the left side. These are the fields that are contained in this model. The ones on the right, these are the ones that are contained within the counties.shp. So don't confuse this and this, the fields in this, because I also found most people had issues there. And then we have URLs, where basically we were mixing class-based views and function-based views. So you have to know which one you're using, because like now this as view, this one as view, so it's basically for class-based views. For function-based views, sometimes you have to maybe know how you intend them to be, or how, depending on how you define them in your views.py file, you have to define them like this. And then also don't forget to import. So if you follow some rules of PEP 8, so sometimes you have to import each of the various components. Some people would prefer maybe to import all, but I don't also prefer that. I might commit that error during my tutorials, but it's not a good move when making a system. And then we have the views.py file. So we have things like template view, which is basically from the generic, it's a generic view. So you have to import it first before you have it here. And then we have things like JSON, we have serialize. So for example, things like GeoJSON. So you have to, your application has to be geo enabled for you to use some of these things. Otherwise, they'll tell you that you're trying to serialize data type that is not recognized. Then we have the returns here. So basically, one of the biggest challenges that most people had was that they're telling me like their data is on, they can view their data on the URL, but they are not able to view the data on their maps. So basically, I'll get there. But if you've defined this, expect like this data will be the output. So you're putting a JSON. So you have to know what structure you are using or you want to use in your application. And then on your receiving end, that's basically on your template, you have to get or to have a function or maybe a component that actually understands that kind of type, data type. Because basically if you have this as JSON and you don't have something that recognizes that data type, then basically you will not have, you won't be able to render that data on your map. Then, so before I get to that, before I go to the specific static files, I want to go to requirements. So basically in this project we're using Django 2.17, then Django leaflet, and then PsychoPG2, and then PsychoPG2 binary. And then of course you are creating time zone aware dates and times. So basically these were just few, you can ignore that this is of no use. Amen. So basically we only had 5 key requirements. So basically you have to install this before you can start the project. That is if you wanted this project. So there were some things that, but I think the biggest challenge that I saw with people is that most were coming from maybe PHP environment or Java environment, and then you've just jumped into Geodjango. That's not an advised way to go. You need to first of all at least learn, have some basics of Python. From there at least have some basics of Django framework. Then from there now you can jump into Geodjango. And that's why on the first video here, I did it intentionally so that the first thing was the introduction to Django projects, because I knew it would be a challenge for guys who've never used Django before. So within this series, you can actually move from a non-Django guy, and then you get to understand what is Django, how it works, and you're able to set up your project and continue developing. So these are just some of my comments that I had. We've had issues of hosting, which basically I didn't want to address that. Guys who are directing questions about hosting a lot, I was sending them to sites that offer hosting services, because basically that is on a personal preference, and also it depends on the project. There's some companies who have servers, others don't. If you're a consultant like me, you have to maybe have an agreement with some companies that have servers that offer server services, so that you can use their services for your work. Depending on the environment that you are in, if you purchase any server, it means you can either get Linux, you can get Windows server, whatever you want, and then you can set up your project there. Always go with the one that you're comfortable with. And of course, by comfortable, I don't mean just host something that can be just host it and leave it. You have to take those to take up some measures that at least will guide or will help the sustainability of the system and also future development. And of course, security, part of it. Okay, I want to go to QGIS because this is basically a GIS software, so I want to go much into that. This is also a personal preference. So because I'm using Linux, ArcGIS does not run on Linux, so I prefer QGIS here. I'm a big QGIS fan. But basically what we wanted to show, look at the series as a way of trying to show you how to maneuver through some things. It's not a must to use what I'm using, but you can still use what basically suits for you. For example, in this tutorial where I said about editing spatial data, someone might have ArcGIS platform, another one maybe Supermap, another one might have Map Window, OpenJump. You can just link. It's the good thing with PostgreSQL is that it's very versatile. So, and there, of course, there's the aspect of interoperability, where you can actually consume the APIs from the database framework or the various frameworks of the database itself, and you're able to do that data, edit it, maybe delete, manipulate, or however you like it, and then you're able to actually proceed with your work. So that's my review for the Geodjango series. I know it was a first timer and I might have left some things, but I hope, or I know, if you follow the steps from video 1 to video 10, I think wherever you are right now, you have an application that is running, comfortable with it, and you've really improved about it. I would like to hear some of the success stories about this tutorial series, because most guys, I've heard many comments and many guys telling me that, wow, you guys helped me a lot. I'm able to do ABCD. Those are some of the success stories that keep me moving, and at least I'm happy because you know we made the world a better place. So you can kindly share those applications or those experiences. I'll be so glad to publish them here for other viewers to see, and that I'll be so happy with that. Again, under this video, so I had a link to all the videos that I had on the channel, and not on the channel but on the playlist, on the series that is, and I also had the link to the GitHub repository where all these videos, or not the videos but the codes were published. I also had a link on the PDF guide where you're able to get this video from. It was a happy ending. Maybe I'll go to the summary video. So this just try to summarize the entire series in one video. I know sometimes when you are running through a tutorial series, sometimes it's a challenge to even go from beginning to the end. Some people get tired at the middle, others get frustrated, others give up, but you shouldn't give up. I know I also have some fans in my channel who will also help you in case I'm not able or I'm not in a capacity to do that. I'm so glad that there are guys who took initiatives to answer some of these questions that guys had. For example, in this video, I know there's some guys, I don't really remember the name, but there's a guy who gave a very comprehensive so this was me. I think there's another one who gave a very comprehensive, yeah. So there's this guy who's called Johannes. So I'm so glad of this guy because he gave a very comprehensive explanation on guys using Windows, and maybe if you're using OS Geo. So at least this guy, thumbs up. This was so cool. I like it. I'm happy because at least he also contributed a big chunk of information to this channel. So there are things that at least guys were doing, others were trying to help their friends, which is super awesome. And at least this is how we get to learn as a community. And there's so much that we can do with this in this work on using Geodjango. It's not only limited to what we are doing here. What I'm doing with my series is just giving you an eye opener or a help guide to at least move you from one point to another. So you don't expect for us to do an enterprise solution here. I'm showing you the basics. This is the basics. If you need to do an enterprise solution, then you can contact me. We can have a special arrangement on that. I do consultancy on systems development, so I can do that part, but apart from this. From these videos or from this series, I also got a channel that is basically on Telegram. So you can follow, let me go back to this. You can follow the videos here. I'm able to, okay, sorry, not this one, but this one. So I have a link to the Telegram group where guys actually ask questions, they get answers, guys engage, and guys are able to actually just like on a texting, on a messenger app, which is instant, you are able to actually get to Telegram. So you can just get to Telegram and search for Geodjango. You'll see the channel there. We have over 70 members. So, and the 70 solely members, people ask questions a lot there, and we actually welcome anyone who wants to share. Not only experts, but we also want to have even beginners, intermediate, and experts, because we believe in sharing. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that's a substantial review. So you can always leave a comment below. Tell me how you feel about how you felt about the series 1, what you feel in terms of the code, in terms of the topics, and what people could do better to understand all these the series better. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do, because every week I'll be posting a video on the various topics in Geodjango series 2, and which will actually carry on the task of making the world a better place with Django on Geodjango. So cheers guys, keep it GIS. Also remember to visit lifeingis.com. That's our website where I also share some posts or some articles of my personal thoughts, or maybe some discussions and all that, and you'll also be able to build up on your knowledge in GIS. So cheers guys, and keep cool.